Now that we know the different HTML tags, or at least some of them, why don't we clean up this file and create a proper HTML file? I'll show you what that means. First, let's begin by cleaning it up. So let's just say I had this I tag and I had this B tag. They are necessary because we have this H1 tag, which means make a header. And the header is already big and imposing. So we can get rid of this. We can get rid of all of that. And I don't want this junk here, this FFF thing. We're just experimenting, so I'll get rid of this. I will leave those BRs. You can have the BRs like this, or you can have the BRs looking like that. Doesn't matter, it's the same thing both ways. And let me change this text to say something like this is a game, because we're going to be building a game. And let me refresh and see what happens. So I've refreshed and, well, this is not what I'm seeing here. So I'm seeing something very different here and very different thing here. What's going on? Well, what I want to bring to your attention is that this file has been edited, but it has not been saved. If you take a look at, there's a little star next to the game.html. That tells you that the file has not been saved. So you can see it here this way, but if you try to load up that file, this browser loads the file from the disk, from the file folder, not from Visual Studio. So you must save your changes to the file. And you do that by clicking Save button here, or you press Ctrl S, and notice that a little star will disappear when I hit it. Okay, so I'm saving now, and it's saved. Now if I come back here and refresh, now things are looking cool. So go ahead in your file, make the changes to make it look a little bit more like this. Come back when you're done. Oh, and make sure you save. Now I would like to show you how an actual real HTML page looks like. And we're going to do that by going to something called W3 Schools. Let's see, schools.com. Let's see if I get that right. Okay, good. I'm going to make it full screen. This is a very neat website that will give you, well, it can teach you a lot about HTML. You can search here for answers. We'll be using it a lot. But let's begin just by, let's see, maybe let's go to Learn HTML. How about that? Here's an HTML tutorial. And let's examine how this page looks like. What I mean by that, if you load up a page in Microsoft Edge, you can right-click anywhere and choose something called Inspect. This allows you to see the actual HTML page, the HTML code, which made this page possible, which built this page. So if I right-click, I have a window side-by-side open. I'm going to maybe make it a little bit smaller like this. It looks very busy. It's going to be very kind of uncomfortable at the beginning, but you get used to it. So as you can see here, look how many HTML tags there are. And as I'm moving here, see how on the left side here, it highlights the actual part of the UI that this tag implements. So if I move my mouse over here, there's something called a div, and that div implemented that area of the page. If I move up, there's an H1 tag. It's a tag that we used, and it's used to display this very large message HTML tutorial. So again, if I move my mouse over it, it shows me where that H1 tag is displayed on the screen. If I scroll down, actually I can see something called an H2 tag. Where is it here? Oh, actually there's an H2 tag right here. Let me scroll up here. See this easy learning with HTML. So H2 is basically a header level 2. So it's a smaller header than H1. It's kind of as if you were building a Word document. So that's how you can examine pretty much any web page out there. And in fact, you can play around with it. You can actually delete. I can just hit the delete key and I can delete stuff and mess around with it. I'll show you more about this later. So you might be asking yourself, can I examine my own HTML page? And the answer is yes. Let me show you. Let me close this and let's come back to this page. Let me make it, actually before we do that, I would like you to go to W3 School. W3 Schools. HTML tutorial. And there will be a link to this in the video. And I want you to go anywhere, it doesn't matter, right click and actually let's go to, you know what, we got to the wrong place. Let's come back here. HTML tutorial, okay. Right click and inspect and just get yourself familiar with this. Just kind of move your mouse around it. If you're like changing something or deleting something, go ahead and come back when you're finished. Okay, now let's try to examine our application. So what I can do here is I can right click and inspect. This can be done anywhere, really. If I do that, I will have this inspection area pop up. We call it developer tools. And I'm going to make it full screen so it's larger. And let's take a look. Here we can see the HTML that was used to display this page. We have the H1 tag that we use to say hi friend. We have the BR, which are line breaks. And we have this is a game, which is this message here. And that we know about. But we also have this weird thing called body. We have this body tag which seems to contain everything that we created. We only created this part, these 4 or 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. But we didn't create this body tag. There was this head tag, and there's this HTML tag, which seems to contain, everything. What are these tags? Well, these are tags that are used to describe the structure of the page. And even though we didn't put these tags, the browser kind of assumes they should be there. So it puts them in. So if they're missing, it puts them in. But we should make them explicit. We should add them into our code so that, let me just show you what will happen. So let's add this in. I'm going to close the developer tools so we have it like side by side. So what could I do? Well, I know that everything was wrapped in HTML. So I can type in HTML and okay, it comes up here. So I can just hit tab and I can put end HTML here and I could put body and I could do everything that I was seeing before. But there is a faster way. I want to show this to you. So I'm going to get rid of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything, and I can do that by dragging or by clicking, hitting Control A on the keyboard. And then I'm going to right click and choose surround with. So I want to surround all the text that I want with some other tags. So I'm going to choose that. And I'm going to type in HTML. So it comes up right here. So I'll just double click on it. And it actually creates for me everything nicely. So remember how we saw the body tag? Well, now we have the body tag. Remember how we had a head tag? Now we have it. HTML, we have that as well. And I don't need this. This is just a fluff that we don't need at this moment. So go ahead, do that now. You can rewind the video, but I can also show you. So right click, so select everything, Control A, right click, surround with, type in HTML and it will appear here. You can type it HTML to the end or you can simply double click and this will happen. So go ahead and do that now, and also let's just get rid of this. So make it look like this. Okay, note that there's a star next to the HTML, so it's not saved. So we need to save it now. And I'm going to go here and refresh, and let's see what happens. Well, nothing happens. Well, actually, that's a good thing because all of these things don't display. They're just sort of describe the structure of this file, but they don't actually display anything. And that's okay. That's what we need. This is good. So let's start exploring what these parts are. There's this thing called title in the head. There's a body, which kind of means like, okay, that's probably where the thing that we want to build goes into here. This is like the body of the document, the body of the page, I guess. And head, what could that be? There's something called title. Let me see. What if I say Greg's game? And if I save this, what do you think will happen here? Will Greg's game appear somewhere? So let me save, watch this and tell me, and let me know if you can, well, you can't tell me, but just ask yourself if you notice what happened. So refresh. You might have noticed that the Greg's name appears here in the tab. So as you can see, the title tag inside the head tag allows me to enter, to specify the name of the tab. If I don't have this, I can fix that and refresh here, then it just gives me the name of the file, which is pretty ugly. So think about, what can I do? Can I simply say Microsoft, save, refresh? Yep, it's going to say Microsoft. Can I say United States government? Yep, I can say United States government. So a little bit of a warning. Just because you see a tab named this way doesn't mean that it's actually United States government. You can have a page which says whatever you want. But I'm going to say Greg's game. So go ahead and do that. Add a title to your file. Just when you're adding a title, please don't do anything silly. Don't do anything inappropriate, because we are going to be publishing this to the web and everybody will be able to see it. So don't put anything here that you wouldn't want anybody else to see. I would suggest you simply put your name and you say, Mark's game, Cindy's game, whatever that would be. So go ahead and do that now. Come back when you're finished. So, believe it or not, this is the basics of HTML. Every web page you see kind of begins with this kind of a structure. And really, the part that you will be doing a lot of the work here is inside this body. So finish here, and you can go ahead and start working on the next video where we are going to start building our clicks per second tester. So see you in the next video.